Alrighty, what is up, party people? Welcome to Where There's a Will, and this is the first episode of kind of a show that I want to make to not only help other people, to kind of help myself um, stay not only on track with motivation and how I get motivated to accomplish goals and find new desires and new drives to do things, um, but also to hopefully help other people and see that it's okay to struggle with not being motivated to do something, but also to light a new fire under someone's feet each week, if I can. I know I'm going to try and do that for myself. I try and do that every day. Find a new burning passion to actually go accomplish something during the day. So yeah, this show is called "Where There's a Will," and obviously that means the phrase "Where there's a will, there's a way." And I like to think that I have the will in me, so there's always going to be a way. So for this first episode, I wanted to start off with a. I kind of want to go each week. I'll do one episode and I'll focus on a saying or a moment, an idea, a person who's been inspirational not only to my life but also in the real world. Where people regard them as, oh, this guy has a really inspirational story, or he's very motivational. He said something, this or that. But I want to start off with my favorite actor of all time, Denzel Washington. He has a saying that I've heard this. I've heard his speech to a Penn. I believe it's University of Pennsylvania. Had a graduating class. I don't remember what year it was, but he was their guest speaker, and he gave an amazing speech. And I listened to it. I don't know, maybe once a week at this point in time because it's like 5 minutes long. Like this motivational video on YouTube, I find it has this, that music behind it. It's like, "Bwah, bwah, bwah." But yeah, it's like it gets me going. And he says he gives a great two-word motivational phrase for me. And so I'm going to focus on that for this episode. It's called fall forward. And he says it, in his Brooklyn accent. He goes, fall forward. And I like to think about that every day because I've run into a lot of obstacles in my life. And everyone does. We all have our struggles and our issues with finding motivation to kind of overcome those struggles. But this one has helped me a lot, and I feel like it's a good one to start off with. So I'll talk first about how he said that and what he meant with it. And he gave a great example. So he says, fall forward, right? And he says, fall forward because if I'm gonna fall, if I'm gonna fall at all, I want to see what I'm gonna hit. You don't want to fall back because then you don't know what's coming. So I took that as there's gonna be negatives, and you have a choice. You have a choice of looking at this through a lens of, okay, I now have an adaptation I have to make, or you can look at it as, oh crap, I failed and I'm never going to get any better. And that's an instant motivation killer, especially when it comes to kind of your daily goals, weekly goals, monthly goals, whatever it is. And he gave a great example of Reggie Jackson. So Reggie Jackson is a great baseball player for the New York Yankees, Oakland Athletics for a long period of time. And he gives his as an example first because he says Reggie Jackson struck out the most in the history of baseball. But people do not remember Reggie Jackson for his strikeouts. They remember him for how many home runs he hit because he's a big power slugger. And everyone goes, "Oh, he can hit like Reggie Jackson." You don't say, "Oh, he can strike out like Reggie Jackson." Easily, as a former baseball player, it's one of the worst feelings in the world to strike out 4 times in a game. And Reggie Jackson probably did that 20 times. So you think about, I could have, given up or whatever. He could have given up after doing all these moments that are really just setbacks in his mental health, but also his desire to keep getting better. But obviously, he took that to a personal a level, and he kept getting better. And despite all this, strikeouts that he had, I don't remember anything else from Reggie Jackson. I never got to see him play live, but I do remember he had one crazy home run to right field in the World Series. So he lives on through his overcoming of setbacks, and he fell forward. And so I think that is a good example that he gave, um, and a good way to kind of incorporate how falling forward has helped me is, and this is a good, I guess, because this is the first episode. I'm working at the kinks, and I'm kind of going in with a structure, but I feel like on the fly I'll definitely have to change a lot of things. But I'll have to go into, how this has helped me, I guess, on my motivational journey. And so I am a aspiring veterinarian. I've been so since I was 13 years old. And vet school is really, it's very hard to get into. It's like it's like medical school, but it's a little bit harder because there aren't as many. And so, I learned last year that I was graduating from my undergraduate studies a little early. So I took it upon myself to apply to vet school, in my senior year, quote unquote, of college, and to really line up my future, and how I can get to the next level, the next place where I want to be, and how I saw it in my head. And so, you go through, everyone's had these moments in their life where they think, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and it's all going to line up perfectly. And then, you get the rug swept out from underneath you. And for me, that was, I didn't get in. I only applied to 3 schools. I got an interview to one, and the interview came back, and they said, thank you for your time, but we're not interested this year. And obviously, there's like a crushing blow. And the point of these motivational points, I guess I want to make, is that it's okay. It is completely okay to feel like the world is lost. If that's how you feel, to a negative remark, to a negative outcome, to whatever setback you face, it's okay. You can't sit in it if you want to accomplish something. However, it's okay to feel that, and that is perfectly normal. And I mean, I would be completely a liar if I said I didn't sit there and cry my eyes out for about 10 minutes because I had a whole dream, right? And then I'm told that dream's not able to happen. So then I take that for about, I don't know, 2 weeks or so. I'm kind of bummed, and I'm just kind of going through life, and then it kind of hit me. I came back to this thought, falling forward, and I listened to this Denzel Washington speech every night before I went to bed for the next month. Every single night, I listened to this, and I'd get to the fall forward part, and I'd think to myself, okay, how can I use this? Because I felt that it was a very strong message, and so I've taken it upon myself. I'm now. It's been about a whole another year, right? So since that application cycle, and I now reapplied to more schools this time. I went out. I went out immediately, sort of after I turned a switch on for this motivation to get back to where I wanted to be. I got a job. I got a full time job in a nice veterinary setting where I'm learning a lot, and I'm honestly, I believe I'm a lot stronger candidate this time around. Um, I took it upon myself to get better essays, to get better letters of recommendation. So in the end, if I were to go back in time, if I could time travel, like woo, go back to my former self, I would slap him in the face and say, "Moron, you don't have to sit here and cry because no one else is feeling bad for you but yourself. That's not going to get you anywhere. You need to pick it up right now because if you don't, you're going to let this opportunity pass you up." And so it's taking a different route than what I wanted, but I'm gonna get there regardless, and I have full faith in not only myself but in the plan that be. And it's about how bad do you want it. There's a great Tim McGraw song out there, and I don't remember the name of it. I don't remember the name of it right now, but I think it might just be "How Bad Do You Want It." But he says, "How bad do you want it?" And that was a horrible. Okay, that was a awful. I'm looking it up right now because I cannot include this in the thing without "How bad do you want it?" I'm looking up the lyrics because I refuse to believe that I'm wrong. Let's see. Where are we? Yeah. Are you eating, sleeping, dreaming with that one thing on your mind? How bad do you want it? How bad do you need it? Because if you want it all, you've got to lay it all out on the line. And so that kind of tied into the fall forward thing for me because, you know, I take things to an extreme. So when I decided, okay, I'm gonna get back into this, I'm motivated now. I felt like Mike Tyson going into war because I have a dream, I have a goal, and I'm gonna accomplish that goal with however long it takes to get there. And the only reason that I thought about like that is because of this quote by Denzel Washington: "Fall forward." It's two little words, but it's very, very important for me on my journey so far. And so taking that from how I've used it and how I've become now pretty much almost to the point where I was at, but a little bit stronger, right? A lot of bit stronger. Um, I encourage whoever's, able to listen to this or who wants to listen to this to use fall forward this week in a way in which it lights a fire under your feet because there's no one in the world that's going to be able to motivate yourself better than you can motivate yourself. And I know that because I've listened to millions and millions and millions of videos where they're like, "Oh, it's it's quotes from Rocky Balboa, it ain't how hard you hit." So none of those they get me going, but at the end of the day, I turn them off and I say to myself, "Okay, now that we're here, how are you going to fall forward, Michael? How are you going to do it?" Because at the end of the day, I can't do it for anyone else. No one else can do it for me. It's all on me to actually take that initiative. So I would say fall forward in your own way this week, whether you're a teacher, a student, a brother, a sister, a mom, a dad, whatever you are, wherever you find yourself, fall forward because I meet daily struggles every single day. Sometimes it's just a struggle to get out of bed in the morning, but I know that if I, instead of falling forward, I go to work tired, okay, whatever. I will wake up and I will get some things done that are very important, not only for my job, but for my mental capacity, for my ability to learn, for my things that will help me build to my veterinary profession. So truthfully, it's in every aspect of the day. You choose to fall forward, I think you'll find a lot of good things will happen for yourself. Not because of anything the universe can provide you or whatever that means, but because of you took the initiative to actually not sit and wait for something to happen to you. You fell, but instead of falling backwards on anything and not being able to see anything and just letting life go, you said, okay, I struggle here, but I'm going to get back up because I know where I'm falling. It's a very important thing to do um, each and every day. And I think that this week for me, I'm going to focus on it again because, well, really, I focus on it every day because I know how far it's gotten me so far and I want to keep going. So I encourage every single listener, or maybe it's just me that's listening to this, it doesn't really matter. Fall forward because it leads to not falling at all. And we all will fall at certain times in our lives. We all will. But in those moments, when you think that all is lost, and I can tell you this from experience because I really did think that all was lost. My naive self, that 20-year-old self, thought all was lost. But now here I am 21, and I wish I could go back in time and slap myself silly because not only am I in a better space mentally to be motivated, I can deal with challenge more because I've fallen forward. So I'll leave you with that Brooklyn accent. Fall forward. Okay? Fall forward. Because Reggie Jackson struck out the most in the history of baseball, but he is Mr. November. And that's how people will remember him. How will people remember you when you decide, I'm going to fall forward? And that's something I want to leave you with this week. And I will leave myself with that as well. And I will pick back up next week with the next installment of this Where There's a Will series. So thank you for listening, and I hope you got some fire built up under you this week, and whatever you have to do on your plate, whatever you desire to go out and do, whatever goals you have. I pray that you accomplish them, but I pray that you focus on falling forward when life gets you down. And just know I'm rooting for you. Alrighty. Thank you very much for listening. And this is episode 1.